1964, but a much more lethal Stallone, who plays a returning Vietnam hero in First Blood. In this film, Mr. Stallone estays the almost unheard-of feat of acting without his boxing gloves on. He's on the run, pursued by the local militia, and as you can see from this extract, if he had his boxing gloves on, he'd be in even deeper trouble. Stallone gives a really excellent performance in this film. He's hunted, he's haunted, he's terse of words and liberal of action. So we sent Film 82's own featherweight champion, Barbara Paskin, to box a few verbal rounds with him in Hollywood.
This was a very gruelling role physically that she played in First Blood. What sort of preparation did you do to keep yourself fit for it?
Well, luckily I had just come off of Rocky III, so I was in pretty good condition. And when I had read the script, I thought, oh, what a pleasure. After being pounded around the Rocky III and fighting wrestlers, I'll spend a couple months in the woods just jogging about over hill and dale. It'll be easy, no problem at all. What turned out to be First Blood really was a survival course. I have never been as beaten up as in my life. But overall, I think that it really added to the film, but it came as a surprise. The only thing I think I really did to prepare for this film was buy a lot of Band-Aids and medication.
There were a lot of stunts in the film, and it looked like you'd done most of them yourself. Did you, in fact?
Yes, the majority of them, we wanted to hold it in one shot, so I participated in the majority of them. There's a couple, such as, like, I started to leap off the cliff, and then in between there was another man, and then I fell to the trees and broke my ribs on that, and then there was this segment with the rats, and the rats were supposed to be really quite friendly, like pet rats. Well, they're pet rats until they're thrown into sub-freezing water, and then all of a sudden pet rats become irritable rats, and they go for the first thing that's warm, which happened to be me, and that scene in the movie, they were coming, they were going for broke. Now I know what it's like to be a hamburger.
This man was sent away to Vietnam to fight a war which was not his, where he was somebody, comes back to America, to his own real world, and doesn't fit in. He's nobody at all. Is that something that you felt was a valid statement?
Oh, yes, very, very. When I kind of equate it to the Doberman Pinscher. Here is a dog, a working dog, that is taken and bred to attack and kill. Now, if that dog escapes onto the street and hurts someone, whose fault is it? Is it the dog's or the ones that trained him and accidentally let him out? So this is what happened with the character John Rambo. He went in there as a I guess, normal American soldier, was trained to be a killing machine. And then he was released on the streets. And the only thing he knew how to do was to commit acts of war. So whose fault is that?
How much did you empathize with him?
I empathized with his ability to want to be an American and defend the honor of his country and his own integrity. But I felt, how does a man like that express himself when he can't do it verbally? He must do it through the way the country taught him to be a violent machine. But he holds back. He's violent against inanimate objects, as a rule. I mean, he does fight back against other men, but he doesn't kill anyone. He stops short of that. He doesn't go through the most obscene taboo of all, which is murder. He attacks the police, a lot of symbols, the police cars, the police buildings, and so on. But, you know, what I liked about the character is that he keeps trying to escape. He is the hunted, not the hunter. Until finally they don't give him a chance to escape at all, and then finally he must revert to his basic instincts of survival. So there is a tremendous dichotomy in the character. I liked it a great deal. I never thought the public would like it at all. I thought this is the most expensive home movie ever made.
As Mr. Stallone said, his character Rambo appears at first to be a long-haired vagrant wandering through Oregon, but in fact he's a returning Vietnam hero, a Green Beret, winner of the American VC, the Congressional Medal. But unlike the British troops who came home from the Falklands to a nation filled with admiration and gratitude, even from the people who might have disagreed with the politics of the war, the fact that American public opinion had turned against involvement in Vietnam tarnished the medals and failed to celebrate the undoubted heroism of their troops in that Southeast Asian nightmare. So Rambo is an outcast. Arrested for vagrancy, his tough military training enables him to escape, and soon there's a life-and-death manhunt for him as he outwits and punishes teams of pot-bellied local police and nervous National Guardsmen. The fighting in the film is tough, brutal, and exaggerated. Stallone combines the intuition of Sherlock Holmes with the tree-to-tree dexterity of Tarzan, and is as impervious to pain as Superman. In one scene, his arm is badly gashed, and he calmly takes out a needle and thread and sews himself up. In fact, the only difference between Stallone and Superman is that Stallone isn't susceptible to kryptonite, and there's a climax in the small American town as Stallone annihilates the place that makes the street showdown between Superman and the villains of Krypton look as if it took place in an under-fives playground. Well, not true, but you know what I mean. First Blood is way, way over the top. It only touches slightly on the theme of America's guilt over the Vietnam veterans and settles for the safer and more tested American dream of improbable man against impossible odds, a theme for which I always thought Clint Eastwood owned the copyright.